Hello everyone, this is Steffi, and I'm recording by myself for once. So this is a little awkward, I gotta get used to it. But basically, what we're doing today is part 2 of Jager's coverage of Mickey's Speedway USA. So he talked about the Nintendo 64 version, and today I'm going to be playing the Game Boy Color version. And I do want to note that this game came out very late in the Game Boy Color's lifespan, pretty much. And I did ask Jager, I was like, why didn't they just wait until Game Boy Advance came out? But I guess at the time they didn't really know how well the Game Boy Advance was going to do. And the Game Boy Advance was also backwards compatible, so Rare and Disney were like, well, I'm sure this will still do well, even though we're moving to another console. So the big question is, how does it compare to the N64 version? Well, let's go ahead and start from the beginning here. And these logos look fantastic for Game Boy Color. I mean, this whole game does look pretty good for Game Boy Color. So I'm going to start on a new empty file. We're gonna see how far we can go. Let's see. So, well, let me go back, and first let me talk about the menu here. So we've got the one-player game, which is your campaign. There's driving school, which I tried this out a little bit. I thought it was going to be a tutorial to teach me how to play, but that is not what it is. It's little missions. Like the first one is you need to drive around and then park within a parking spot without hitting any walls, and then you need to leave the parking spot when it tells you and drive to the goal, and you need to complete it within a certain time, and those are those challenges, which is kind of odd considering this is a racing game, and none of that really comes into play. You got your time trial, extra settings, and I guess you could play 2-player. I haven't gotten to experience that. So let's go ahead and jump into the 1-player game, and like I said, we're just gonna see how far I can go. I'm going to play as Mickey, and the carts are kind of the same as they are in the N64 version, where you've got Mickey and Donald, who are pretty much well-rounded. Then Minnie, who focuses more on handling and acceleration, but is not very fast. And then, and Daisy as well. And then Goofy and Pete, who are all speed, low acceleration. And you can unlock the nephews in this version, but I have not done that, so we're starting fresh on a brand new game. And let's go. Yes, I'm picking Mickey. And so there's 5 different courses. Here's the first. Well, 5 different cups, I should say. I'm going to play on beginner because I have tried to get good at this game and I am not. So for the sake of making progress, we're going to do beginner difficulty. And here we actually get some story. I don't think you get this in the N64 game, but this explains the whole story behind the game, the plot, why we're doing this. I mean, it still doesn't make sense, but basically Mickey's looking for Pluto, he's gone, he's been kidnapped. Oops, I skipped it. Basically, he's been kidnapped because he has a diamond collar, and Mickey's like, hey guys, we're gonna race around the US and go and save him. I don't know what racing has to do with saving him, but it is what it is. So one major difference, there are 4 racers in each race instead of 6. Oops. Hang on. There we go. So right from the get-go, I believe Blade always talks about the controls first. So you've got your basic A and B and D-pad, and to use items you would press up on the D-pad. There's a fixed camera, which I am not a fan of because it's hard to tell where the track is going to go. Unlike the N64 version, you don't have a map to see what the shape of the track is and where those turns are. I believe the items are the same. And see, even though I'm playing on beginner, I'm already way behind. So this game is pretty unforgiving, which is why I was having so much trouble with it. Oh, there's Goofy. I'm catching up on him. Yeah, so there's little arrows that'll tell you when turns are coming up, but I still am having trouble with it. I did practice these first 4 tracks for quite a while, so I've gotten a little more familiar with them. If we get to the next cup, hopefully we do, those tracks are going to be less familiar to me. Oh no, Goofy. Yeah, I have a really hard time steering using the D-pad. And another difference about this version is that you cannot power slide, which would be very helpful, I think. So, I don't really know what more to say. Blade pretty much covered the history of this game. It is interesting. I think it's one of 3? I could be wrong, but it's one of only a handful of titles that Rare has worked on for the Game Boy. So another difference too is even if you come in last, you still get to continue. It doesn't make you start over, and you get a point system. You need a certain amount of points to be able to complete the cup, and I don't know how many that is. If I come in last each time, I will have to repeat the cup until I get enough points to progress. So now we're in the Grand Canyon. What? I think I bumped into somebody and spun out, but I also slowed them down too. I feel like this track is a little more forgiving than the first one. I do gotta say, like, these graphics look pretty great. They're pretty impressive for Game Boy, but I do feel like racing games just don't do well on Game Boy, or really handhelds for that matter. I don't think that was really done pretty decently until we got into the DS era with Mario Kart DS, which is a fantastic game, and I'm excited that Jagger and I will be playing that for you guys pretty soon. Oh! I do like the physics where you can bump into other players and slow them down, and it slows you down as well. Sounds like Goofy just got a boost, and he is out of sight. And the music in this game isn't too bad. I wouldn't say it's super memorable, but it's not bad. They put some effort in. Ah, Goofy and these boosts. Yeah, I really want to have content for you guys, but this game is really hard to do well at. I'm playing on a Nintendo Switch Pro controller, and I'm using the D-pad. So I don't know if it may have been easier on the Game Boy itself. but I am struggling a lot to use the D-pad. Alright, where are we heading next? Yosemite. Let's go. Man, it is weird just being me and not having Jagger to bounce off of. Oh my goodness. And I really did try to give this game a fighting chance and to attempt to get good at it, but it's hard. That was a cool effect, how you drive through the tree. Man, where is everybody? Like, I wish I could at least, like, see how far behind I am. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say at this point. I'm just trying to catch up so that I'm not in last. But, oh, I think I saw somebody. It's Pete. Where'd he go? I'm curious how the multiplayer would work on this. That would have been nice to try out. Oh, I was so close to passing him. Got one more chance to hopefully not get last. Although I think at this point it probably won't make a difference. Alright, greetings from San Francisco, and that's where they've got Pluto. Let's go save our boy. I do like the music in this track a lot. And I like the design of the track, but I feel like it just doesn't work very well being... I feel like it doesn't work very well on the handheld just because there's too many twists and turns and you can't see far enough ahead of you to know when there's going to be a turn. This track kind of reminds me of the Mario Kart Tour tracks that they put into Mario Kart 8 in the DLC, where there's a lot of streets and you can see lots of ways to go, but several of them are blocked off to mark your path. And I don't think they're changing each lap like they do in those, because I don't think Game Boy could handle that. But the first time playing those tracks, it was very confusing because even though everything is kind of clearly labeled, it all blends together and it's brand new. And I have that trouble here too. I've only played this track a couple times, and it's very hard. Once I register that there's cones there, I'm like, oh crap, and then it's too late for me to adjust my course. And that little exclamation point at the top, it goes off to tell you when there's about to be a jump, which I don't know why. That doesn't really make a difference. But it will also go off if somebody throws an item at you, which is helpful. So I just did something to Goofy, but it looked like it didn't work. Can I pass Goofy, please? I'd like to not come in last. Oh, wait, that was the last lap. Well. yeah, that was one player mode. And this was supposed to be a half-hour video, but yeah, so I got game over, and I don't want to show you guys the same thing. So I guess I can show off the driving school a little bit. We'll play as Mickey again. And Ludwig is teaching me how to control my vehicle. So we'll do the parking test. Drive your car forwards. Yeah. Yeah, I think my A button got mapped to start somehow. There we go. I'm in the corner, so technically I parked. Oh, come on. Let's go. Yep, and that's that. So the next one is like a reverse test. It is pretty generous with the time. Although this time I didn't pass, but yeah. Oh dear, you have failed to beat the required time. Try again. Anyway, I'm gonna call it for now. Hopefully I'll see you guys in a better game. Yeah. Well, also, Blade did want me to ask the question, which version is better, N64 or Game Boy Color, and I did not enjoy my experience with this one. It's very difficult. Like, it looks nice, it sounds nice, it does not play nice. I really wish they would have just waited for Game Boy Advance to come out to get more of that 3D graphics going. I think that would have done a lot for this game. And I have not played the N64 version, but from what I've seen, it seems to go a lot better. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and tune in every Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Blade's regular videos, and you'll see me pop up randomly every once in a while. Alrighty, take care.